There are only a few more episodes left this season, but things are starting to get pretty tense as it dwindles down. The tribal lines are still very much drawn, but honestly, some groups are doing much better than others. Episode 9 was a really good one, y'all, so I can't wait to get into it. So we open up this episode with the Ratu group really feeling the pressure after being blindsided last tribal and losing Brandon. You see, after that last episode, I just knew that things were going to go downhill for the Ratu group, especially after Kane said this.
It is our game to lose. If it is not a Ratu member who wins this game, we mess that up.
Famous last words. Meanwhile, everybody else on the island is busy idol hunting. People are trying to be slick, but let's be honest, everybody already knows what time it is, okay? It's getting down to the wire out here, so everybody is on the hunt. Everybody's doing their part looking when out of nowhere, Heidi actually becomes the person to find the immunity idol. You know, that Heidi's really been stepping up lately, really been making some power moves. But still, the fact that she was so ignored during the first half of the season, it's really hard for me to consider her a winner. Later on in the day, the players all get a letter telling them that they'll have a chance to win rice at this next challenge. Now this is especially important because in this new 26-day season format, the players aren't even given any rice or any food at all anymore. They have to forage and hunt for any and every piece of food that they get. Of course, there is a big catch here and everybody already knows it. Some of the castmates will have to sit out of the immunity challenge in order for everybody to earn their rice. Now, at first, everyone's acting all tough. Nobody's wanting to sit out at all, right? But when they actually get to the challenge, it is a whole different story. The rain is just pouring down. Everybody is absolutely miserable. And slowly but surely, people start stepping out one by one.
I'll sit out if anybody else wants to.
I'll sit out.
So there's 2 people? Anybody else?
In total, Lauren, Carson, Kane, and Heidi all end up sitting out of this challenge. I'm fortunate enough to have never been that miserable or starving in my life, so I have no idea what this feels like, and I'm not judging anybody for sitting out at all, okay? I'm not gonna be like Danny.
People are gonna not do an immunity challenge for rice. It's embarrassing every time I hear it. I don't even want to be standing there with them when it's brought up. Because we came out here to play Survivor. You can go 30 days without eating.
This competition kicks off and it ends up being an endurance comp, which looks especially miserable in that rain. One by one, people start dropping off until there's only Danny and Frannie left standing. It is a brutal showdown, but in the end, my girl Frannie ends up winning her 2nd individual immunity. So back at camp, the strategizing is on, with the original tribal line still being very much relevant. On top of that, there are 3 players left in each tribe, making things even more intense because it is dead even. The Soka 3 really want to vote out Kane here. They're still doing their best to chip at the Ratu tribe one by one, starting with Kane. And since they got their way at the last vote too, you best believe they are really trying hard to maintain hold of the power. On the other hand, the Ratu 3 are trying to vote out Danny. I'm thinking they probably view him as a bigger threat than Heidi on that tribe, which makes sense, I guess. Meanwhile, the Tika 3 are sitting pretty right there in the middle, just as I suspected. Now see, normally being in the middle is a very dangerous place to play because you almost always get exposed eventually, right? But the only one that seems to be really suspicious of them is Frannie, and when she tries to bring it up and do something about it, she's immediately dismissed by Danny.
Frannie wants to get rid of Jamie and Carolyn. Frannie, I love you, but you gotta play the game smart.
Going after Tika right now is illogical.
To me, it feels like Frannie's taking sides against the family.
Meanwhile, for whatever reason, Jaime starts getting really nervous thinking that she's the target. She also thinks that there might be that knowledge is power advantage floating around somewhere, which I mean, I get the suspicion because so far this season has been a complete clusterfuck of advantages. So because of this, she gives her fake idol that she thinks is real to Kane, just in case there is an advantage that she thinks is out there but is not. Did I get that right? Overall, I just think it's hilarious how Matthew's petty tricks and schemes from weeks ago is still affecting the gameplay now. So, as per usual, everything is a hot ass mess as the group heads off to tribal council. There's a lot of talk about the rice negotiation and the politics of that. At first, everything looked pretty casual, but suddenly people get to whispering and all of a sudden, we have ourselves a live tribal. Now, I normally love a live tribal, but this time the editing was so chaotic, people are all over the place and nothing made sense. Eventually, the votes are read, and with, I believe, 5 votes to evict, Kane is the one who was voted out. And he took Jaime's fake idol with him. You know, that may end up being more of a blessing than a curse for Jaime, though. We'll just have to see. So, of course, I want to know what you all thought of this episode and who do you expect to see in our final 3. I still have high hopes for the Tika 3 and Frannie. Those 4 people are the ones on the top of my list, but of course, I want to know what you all think. There's only 8 players left, y'all. We're getting down to the end, but I'm super excited to see who's going to be the last one standing. Until next time, bye.